How you doing? Oh, Bibby's not even on full screen. God, spoilers. You seen stuff that we're talking about in a bit. God damn. There we go. He's back. Welcome in to twitch.tv/ice-cream upwards. My name is Graham D, and I'm going to be here until I'm not here, at which point I will say...
Catch you later. Bye.
But I'm not going to say that right now. That's coming later on. Shout out to Tito, who was in the chat. Just exclamation mark Hondas. So I just needed to use his voice. Good morning, Ted Nort. I'll read P Honey, the newest mod on the channel. P Honey, don't forget, because we've not forgotten.
Uploads. The
next time you're streaming.
Never forget.
Next time do you know what? Saturday. When we raid you tomorrow, when you're doing your stream crawl, I expect an uploads. That's all I'm saying. What's the name of this channel? Ice Cream.
Uploads.
Nice. JMK, good morning, or after morning as it is now. The time's currently 12:39 and 40 seconds, which is basically 10 a.m.-ish. Exactly. Close. It's close. Lake says, how does that emote sound, Bib?
Sorry, I haven't got the chat up on the screen. I'm guessing it's oh, hello.
Yeah, we haven't had one for a while. I just thought we'd have one of them. Caught you off guard.
No, it's fine, Graham. It's fine. I mean, if you want to get a clean audio recording, I can provide that for you, so you can use it as. How many can you actually have as stock on that? 12.
Okay. As stock. Wow, 12 as direct button presses. But then Lotus showed me something the other day. I think you can set up like an infinite amount on each button as well. The only thing is, like, you either then have to have it. So if I've got one button that does...
Yes.
I can set up 4 different noises on that, for example, but I can choose to then go through them sequentially, so it'll go like...
Yes. No.
Brexit.
Or I can have it to set it as random, so I'll hit it and then I might go...
Yes.
Brexit.
Yes. No.
Brexit.
No.
Kind of thing. It's...
Brilliant. So it's basically like a stream deck, the way that it works.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like Loop Deck. It's actually just been acquired by Logitech, by the way. Shout out to Logitech, our supreme overlords. They're not really. They do support us very, very much. As you can tell from the microphone that I'm chatting on, the headset that Bib is wearing and the headset that I'm wearing. Astro, Logitech, same company. They've just acquired Loop Deck, so I'm interested to see how that works. But Loop Deck have more of the traditional TV media sort of soft, spongy buttons that you get on loop decks that do this.
Yes.
And they've just been acquired by Logitech G. So Logitech's version of the Stream Deck, which is more like a traditional TV deck, the Loop Deck has. I want to see. It's good. Lake says, as well as hello, he says also the cats are saying hi, or could have been meow. Sure. Why the fuck not? Let's go. Yeah. Also, we got
just dumb stuff
going on all the way through the show.
I've just got someone at the door. Back in a sec.
Oh, bye.
Catch you later. Bye.
Just bum stuff.
Catch you later. Bye.
Catch you later. Bye. So while Bibby's not here, do you know what? I'll use this opportunity to go through the introduction. If you haven't been here before, welcome in. My name is Graham. This is a gap where Bibby usually sits, and we are Ice Cream Uploads, the UK's #1 video game streaming channel content outlet in the world. And this is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast. Well, it is if we do say so ourselves. Anyway, we are live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. Thanks, babe. Nice. Appreciate that. It's now 10 to 1 in the afternoon, so 10 a.m.-ish. It's not too bad. It's been a lot worse. We do work in the video games industry, and it's kind of a busy season. It's silly season before silly season. Silly season kicks off about September, October time, which is build up to Christmas. This is the build up to Christmas. So we've got Gamescom and stuff coming soon, and a few other industry things happening then. So we are busy. The streams will keep happening, but there is a good chance that Tuesdays and Thursday streams may be short, may be late, may be delayed, may not happen at all for the foreseeable. That's just the way it is. That's where the ish emote in the channel comes from. It usually is for the start times, but at the moment, it's whether it happens at all, but that just is what it is. We bring you the content when we can, and we appreciate the fact that you guys still show up for it, even though there is a little bit less consistency than there usually is. But it's the nature of the beast. If you want to know when we do go live, though, just follow the channel on Twitch. You get notified. You can follow us on social media channels. We put out the post there, and you can see it all. See it all? I hear you say, what will I see? Well, we are bringing you the biggest. What?
I thought you were saying it all.
A bit of everything, yeah.
No. We will bring you the biggest, the best, the breaking stories to the world of video games because that's what we do. We then give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories. Incoming ad break. I've never seen that pop up in the chat before. Twitch must have changed something on the back end. I can snooze it.
How does it snooze it for?
I don't know. I'm going to press it. See what it says. Adds a snooze for 5 minutes. Can I keep doing that forever? Well, we'll see. Anyway, we will bring you our thoughts and impressions, the biggest, the best, and breaking stories from the world of video games, and we want to hear your thoughts and impressions too. Then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. So if you are in the stream, please do feel free to get involved over the next hour or so, because we may be live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads, but we also turn the live stream into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Play. There is a lot of places where over 200,000 people have watched and listened to this podcast on demand. So please do feel free, if you are here live, to get involved on behalf of those, because they do get to watch, but they don't get to engage, and you guys get to do that. So you get to be the voice. Before we jump into the show, a couple of reminders. I mentioned Logitech already. Shout out to Logitech G. They do support us with some hardware, and it's never hashtag spawn. It is hashtag ad because we get it for free, but they also give us some stuff to give away. They've not paid for our thoughts and opinions. All our thoughts and opinions are our own, so I could say bad things about this if I wanted to. It's a really good mic, so I'm not going to. But, yeah, shout out to Logitech for supporting us. Exclamation mark DTL if you are a PUBG player and thinks, you know what, I'd like to play some PUBG games with the world's greatest content creation outlet, and maybe get some stuff for doing it. Then exclamation mark DTL will give you the link to the Double Trouble League. We play games on stream with you, and at the end of the year, one person will get their stream set up, or just home PC set up, absolutely decked out with top of the range Logitech G merch. So do it. Also, shout out to GT Omega, who provide us with cool chairs, floor pads. If anyone didn't see the post on floor pads yesterday, if you've got a hard floor, I didn't intend to go full sell this morning, but I'm doing it. If you've got a hard floor, the GT Omega floor pads are badass, by the way. It's basically a little, almost like a little rug, a little carpet that goes underneath your chair, but it's foamy, spongy stuff, and it looks cool. So if you've got a hard floor in your gaming setup, and you want something that just keeps the silence down as you're gliding around and stuff, then yeah, check out floor pads. Just saying. Wasn't going to mention that, but Baby posted about it yesterday, and I thought, you know what, that's good stuff. Yeah,
good stuff.
We always talk about the chairs, and that's it. But GT Omega do desks and floor pads and everything, and we don't talk about any of that stuff. So I thought, yeah, do you know what, Bib? You've opened my eyes. Nice.
There you go. Easy.
I noticed it yesterday for the first time on my stream. You noticed what?
The ad thing, I reckon.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe they put it live yesterday then, because I didn't see it on Wednesday, and we didn't stream yesterday. So maybe it went live yesterday if you saw it yesterday for the first time. So yeah, that's what it is. The ad pausing stuffs. I get you. Let me jump into the split screen. Mr. Bib.
Hola.
I'll read.
Good after morning.
Are you happy to talk about video game news?
I am always happy to talk about it. It's probably possibly my favourite subject.
Nice. Well, it's a good job because we are recording a video game news podcast, so there's probably probably the best answer that you could have given me, really, thinking about things. Now, we have a few stories lined up today. The first one is talking about Xbox. Settle down, Tito. Put the mouse back in the house. It's not that sort of stream. Xbox is bringing their biggest ever booth to Gamescom 2023 to show off games. Now, that's the thing that interests me. The biggest booth at the largest gaming event. Gamescom is the biggest gaming event. It dwarfs E3, but E3 is the biggest sort of money spinner, the centerpiece, the headliner kind of thing. And Xbox has had some massive booths there. So if their biggest booth ever is coming to Gamescom this year, they've had some big old booths. So this is going to be monumental. I'm excited to go to Gamescom. So stick with us. We'll go through that story first. And then we talk about the downsides of Xbox being so big that they can bring the biggest booths to events, and that is because staff are now losing their jobs. So we'll talk through that console. 50 employees have been laid off from Activision Blizzard's esports division. We'll then talk about PlayStation 5. There is a new console on the way. I don't mean PlayStation 6. I mean a special edition of the PS5, you know. Then we'll talk about the FIFA eWorld Cup, which had some bizarre, disastrous,
disastrous outcomes.
So we'll talk about that, and then we'll wrap things up with exclamation mark FF for free game Friday, which is it's got Murder by Numbers today. I'll tell you that one. There's another game that some people might have heard of. I don't know. We'll talk about it in a bit. We'll talk. If you're
Spicy meatball.
FIFA final was spicy. It was. There is another ad break coming in 2.5 minutes. Do you know what? I'm gonna snooze it again. I'll wait until it gets to nearly 2.5 minutes, and I can snooze it for 5 more minutes. And so that way, if I could do it again after that, we'll get like halfway through the stream without ads. Yes! That's the plan. Okay. For now, though, we'll jump into the first story. This is written by a site that's like, I've never heard of this before. I went Googling the story specifically because I mentioned it the other day and I said, I keep seeing people talking about Xbox are going big or going serious at Gamescom this year. I think it might have even been Wednesday's, possibly Monday's edition of The Scoop. And I thought, actually, where did I hear that? And I went to see if I could find the story and I couldn't see like a story on, and I feel sorry for this site by saying it this way, an established site. More when I say that, I mean a site that I've heard of. I couldn't find it on a site that I've heard of, but it's always nice to reference sites that we haven't heard of. That said, because we've never referenced this site before, obviously do feel free to take this with a pinch. We don't know what their opinions and so on are like. We'll go through it all together, but we can pull the pieces together even if their journalism isn't that spectacular. I assume it is, but you know what I'm saying. Nice. Okay, nice. Obaid Rehman, I think it says, at Tech 4 Gamers, says Xbox is bringing the biggest ever booth to Gamescom 2023 to show off games. Xbox boss, says Tito in the chat. Microsoft recently revealed that the Xbox Game Showcase and Starfield Direct managed to gather over 92 million views. These events broke viewership records for Xbox, making them more successful than other showcases. Following the event, Microsoft had already confirmed that it would attend Gamescom 2023. The gaming giant has now elaborated and stated that Xbox is bringing its biggest ever booth to Gamescom 2023. Why it matters. Microsoft has already featured many titles in the previous showcases, but some were missing from the event. As such, Gamescom could provide a new opportunity for Microsoft to highlight these games. The blog post from Microsoft states, quote, in August, Xbox will be headed to Gamescom. We'll be setting up our biggest ever booth to show off the incredible games. Previously, Matt Booty was asked, that's his name, by the way, that's literally his name, Matt Booty was asked about potential appearances for the Xbox games at future events. While Microsoft already showed various anticipated games like Fable and Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 at the Xbox Games Showcase, several games were missing. This included titles like Perfect Dark and Indiana Jones. According to Booty, Xbox has events like Gamescom and other potential showcase another potential showcase for future reveals. Therefore, August could turn out to be another incredible month for the gaming giant. Bethesda is also attending the event, so it would not be surprising to see a new reveal from the studio. Developers like id Software and Machine Games are already working on their next games, but have remained quiet for a few years. Microsoft is close to wrapping up the Activision Blizzard merger. Following recent attempts to negotiate with the CMA, the gaming giant is expected to take a few more weeks to complete the acquisition. Do you know, we don't have to go back to the acquisition stuff. We can jump back to the main story, which is Xbox is going big. They've been going big recently anyway. They've had a lot of failures. Just wrapping this up with a bit of negativity to build into positivity. They've had a lot of failures with things like Halo and what was it? Redfall recently being a bit garbage. So Xbox's first party stuff has been a bit weak. Off the back of that, we've had strong performances in terms of their numbers, although little bits have been dropping off, probably because their first party games roster has still been a bit weak. But to bring the biggest ever booth to an event, they've been heavily relying on Starfield to prop up their winter period, their marketing. And beyond that, there's kind of like what's next? Where do we go from there? What else do we have from Xbox? And nobody really knows. Could this be where we find things out? Bearing in mind, Starfield had its own direct. We've already seen that stuff. I don't know how in-depth people are going to get hands-on with it at this event. But you don't need the biggest event you've ever had, the biggest booth you've ever had just for Starfield. So should we be expecting a lot more? What are your thoughts, Mr. Pip?
Yeah, they've also mentioned in the article there as well things like Indiana Jones, Perfect Dark. We're seeing things like Fable, Hellblade 2 in the last Xbox showcase. So I imagine you might end up getting something in there as well. But that doesn't mean to say that you're not going to be getting some new Bethesda stuff. Obviously, they'll have their own stand on whatever game it's they're going to be showing there. Elder Scrolls isn't going to be shown. They might have something coming from Elder Scrolls Online that you might be able to see. Like last time I went in 2019. I can't remember. It might have been Darkwood expansion pack that they had there showing on the screens and stuff. The trailers running looked amazing. It was when Doom Eternal, I think, was coming out 2019. So yeah, I imagine they might end up showing something at Bethesda. What that is?
Just to interrupt, when
no
you said
idea.
Darkwood, was that the Elder Scrolls trailer? Did you say
Online? Yeah.
Yeah, and did it feature like a cat looking thing in the trailer, like a cat?
Yeah.
That was a badass trailer, that, by the way. I remember watching it thinking, this looks fucking amazing. And then when you stood there, I was like, oh, no, it's a Bibby game.
Damn you, Graham. But yeah, what we're actually going to see, I don't know. But if they are bringing the firepower in terms of the size of their booth. And if you have the most real estate, it's very much like a monopoly board when you get into Gamescom. If you have the biggest real estate, which I think the one and only time that I've been, it was Nintendo last time. Like I think they was doing the treehouse stuff from there as well. Like it was just fucking massive. So I don't know if Xboxes is going to be anything of that scale, because obviously Nintendo had all of their little kiosks with all the other games that they were showing, and I think there was 6 games there maybe for Nintendo to show off, including Ring Fit Adventure way back when, that people just jumping around the convention center with the thing strapped around the leg and the big yoga wheel thing. I'm excited to see what Xbox. In my personal opinion, I don't think Xbox blow their trumpet about the presences at shows. I feel like they let the games do the talking for them, and the fact that they're going out on a limb and saying that they're bringing the biggest show ever, I'm excited to see what that's going to consist of and what that's actually going to look like. Because if you are bringing the biggest show ever, it can't just be a load of TVs with trailers running on them. There needs to be something there for people to be able to engage with and either speak to community managers. I don't know, obviously you won't be capturing any content, but you'll definitely have your mate over your shoulder recording you play whatever it is that you're playing there. So I'm definitely interested to see what this floor plan looks like. I'm interested to see your thoughts, obviously, because you will be around that convention center just to get a good understanding. Because it's all well and good me listening to somebody else talk about it, but seeing as though you've been at Gamescom like every year for the last 7 or 8 years, COVID aside, you've got a good understanding of what makes a decent Gamescom show as well. So very interested to hear your thoughts and what everybody else thinks of what Xbox's presence is going to be like at a convention center like that.
Well, I will give you those thoughts, but just before I do, JMK says Xbox for the payers. Well, technically, we've given that title to PlayStation this generation compared to last generation. But speaking of for the payers, in about 8 minutes, you will get some ads on Twitch, because I've suspended the ads. You only get 3 suspends, and I've just used all 3 of them for 5 minutes at a time. So we'll get a 3-minute countdown in 5 minutes. So in about 8 minutes, there will be ads. I can't stop that anymore. Apologies for that. Just letting you know in advance. Yoda, good morning, after morning. Welcome in. So yeah, my thoughts. Xbox is bringing its biggest ever booth. I instantly, like, without even thinking of what they could bring that they've not announced yet, or what they could bring that they've not spoken about for a while, leaving all of that stuff alone, let's just talk about what they've got there. The biggest booth that I've seen at Gamescom, Big Ham. Welcome in, Big Ham. Thank you very much for the raid. Mr. Pow Pow Beanie, Friske, Sam, I'll read. I've been doing some channel hopping this morning. I was in watching Sam. I was watching Big Ham as well. And who else was I watching? Oh, Dr. Mike as well, although he's not in here. So, hey, welcome in, everyone. How you doing? How was you finding Bomb Rush? You got me this time. You did. If I'd have seen it coming, I'd have been out of here again, mate. I appreciate the raid. For those that did come over with the raid last time, apologies. We had literally just raided out, so we raided again to try and send everyone over. But thank you. Twice in a week from Big Ham. How is the Blue Bomb Rush? Are we enjoying it? What are the thoughts? Is it novelty? I've not played it yet. I did a little bit of my dailies last night, but not touched the Bomb Rush. It's ruined normals for me. So you're enjoying it? Oof, maybe... Are we going to see Big Ham on the Valorant/CS grind soon then? You know, go full in to search and destroy. Ooh. Phony gets mod status, doesn't do his job. Still no one mod. Let's go, Tito. Yeah. Do you know what? Any other mods come up to Tito? Tito's like,
Catch you later. Bye.
and then, yeah. Nice. So there we go. I can confirm the ads will be back in 3 minutes. Apologies. I've snoozed it all 3 times. I can't do it again. We will have ads in 3 minutes. But what we are talking about is Xbox having its biggest ever booth at Gamescom. Which has been confirmed by Microsoft. So after their showcases, their Starfield Direct, the mainline Microsoft showcase, they had 92 million views, which is massive. They've broken all their own internal records for showcases of that style. They are now having their biggest ever booth at an event at Gamescom 2023. I will be there, yay! So I'll hopefully get some pictures. We'll share it. If there's connectivity, I know I promised this last time and we didn't do it, but if there's connectivity, I'll try dial into the scoop or something if I can get the times aligned kind of thing, and maybe from the Xbox booth. Who knows? Who knows? But in terms of talking about big booths, the biggest booth I've seen was Star Wars Battlefront 2. And that was like EA basically just took out the full hall. It was like half a hall, and then there was huge, I think at that point Need for Speed Heat might have been there. Maybe I might be mixing years up, but there was all the different stuff. There was obviously a mega FIFA stand, but then there was Battlefront 2, which had like a TIE fighter, like a life-size TIE fighter stood up on the floor, and an X-Wing and everything else. Absolute mammoth. So that's instantly where I thought, because my brain's like, I've seen big stands before. They are spaceships. And Starfield is Xbox's biggest game coming. So I thought, okay, we're going to go to Gamescom. We're going to walk up to the Xbox stand, and there is going to be a massive life-size starship. Either just something that's a prop there for decoration, or you're going to be able to walk in it, and the consoles are going to be at the control units that you usually sit down and so on. That's where my brain goes. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's none of that, and they just go for the big art wall, and then we just go, fuck it, we want people to play this. Here's 200 consoles, sit down and play. All in the same world, 200 people just flying around and stuff. It could be that as well. But the fact that Xbox has gone biggest booth ever, it's not all just going to be for that. Unless we're talking floor... square meterage, then it could just be that. We'll just fill up the space with cool looking stuff. There's not wrong with that. But I feel like we don't really know what's next for Xbox. We've had Halo fail. We've had Redfall fail. The only thing that's really been a success first party-ish was Hi-Fi Rush, which was 9 and 10 out of 10s January-ish sort of time. Beyond that, we've kind of been a bit weak, and we don't really know what's next, apart from Forzas and obviously we mentioned Fable, Senua Saga and stuff, but that's not like your hard hitters, your big hitters, your main roster titles. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the Fables and the Senua Sagas dotted around, but maybe even something else for the future. And if not, if there isn't something else for the future there, maybe we see stuff teased in opening night live before we see like some sort of real booth or something that just goes through the whole show. I don't know. It could this cookie could crumble a bunch of different ways, but whatever way it is, the fact that Xbox has just bought okay, let's talk about that stuff then. They've just bought Activision Blizzard, so are we seeing some Call of Duty stuff on this stand for the first time? Maybe it's a bit too soon for that. Will we see Bethesda stuff? I mean, yeah, we will obviously see Starfield, but will we see anything else beyond that? Probably. It could go one of a million ways, but whatever way it is, you do not bring your biggest ever booth. And if anyone went to Earl's Court EGX and saw the Xbox booth there, that was massive. Anyone's been to E3 and seen the Xbox booth there, they had their own basketball arena, the Microsoft Center or whatever that was just for Xbox stuff. Massive. So if this is even bigger than that, then you don't spend that much money if you aren't intending to go big, go deep, balls to the wall. So yeah. Looking forward to it. There is ads running at the moment. If you're watching the ads, you won't hear me say this, but you might be watching on the web browser, so you can see me going, "Hi, ads people. How you doing? Hey." Jumping back through the chat. I'm enjoying the faster pace, to be honest, says Big Ham about the blue bomb rush. Do you know what? I've enjoyed watching it, to be fair. Seeing, because we've watched quite a lot of CS. We used to do CS coverage, like top level Cloud9 versus I can't remember what was the name of the team that fucking absolutely whitewashed everyone. Begins with an A.
Fanatic.
No, not Fnatic. It began with an A. I don't know if they're still at the top of the game, but they were like Torch in Code Red, but for CS that season that we were last covering ECS 6 kind of stuff. Anyway, nice. Watched a bit of that. We've played some Valorant stuff. Me and Bib did a whole Valorant session at the launch of Valorant, which was good. So a big fan of Search and Destroy mods. So I'm liking to see people adjusting their skills into that. And you can see the metas develop as well. And I said, metas isn't even the right word. The skill arc, people figuring out that it's not just a case of run around the corner and it's peeking the angles. It's knowing, fuck it, we'll all go balls to the wall at one zone and we can just brute force get the spike down or the blue bomb or whatever it's called on this. Get the blue bomb down, and then we can all just like protect it. I was watching someone yesterday. Someone was talking about like planting the blue bomb and just everyone getting those riot shields and putting riot shields around it and just be like, don't get it.
So do they have eco rounds and stuff like that on there?
Yep, same sort of thing. I've not paid enough attention to that to tell you how important the economy is, because obviously that's massive. You die, you lose your loot, you've got to buy in again. The more people you kill, the more stuff you buy. So it's like 5k to buy P90s and so on like that, and buy shotguns and yeah. The only thing I would say is, like, obviously shotguns are quite powerful on PUBG, but they're usually early/late game weapons. So I don't know where they sit, because in a PUBG player's mind, a shotgun is almost useless. I mean, it's not if you're gaming Nacho or someone that's obscene like that. But like,
I know someone who thinks a lot different than you do.
Shotguns are almost useless for 80 to 90% of the game. But because this game is based in close quarters, short maps, there is corridors. Like you will have a long line between getting down to point A or whatever, or B, that you'd get in normal sort of CS maps. But because there's a lot of short-range stuff, suddenly the shotguns are massively powerful. So I don't know what if they're on like 300 points, but it's 5,000 to buy the P90, then everyone's going to be running shotguns. So I need to spend my own time on it to kind of get used to the economy in it. But it seems pretty good. It seems decent. I wasn't. Not that I wasn't thrilled by it. I wasn't. How can I put it? I didn't think the game needed it. I feel like the game needs something else. But I'm not against it either. And having played it, I'm thinking, okay, well, I didn't think it needed it, but you've done a good job of it from what I've seen, regardless. So, GG's. Progressive DBS, what more do you need from a game? Exactly. Do you know what? I opened a couple of crates last night. I opened the Progressive DBS one, only using the free vouchers, by the way, that I got from being a PlayStation guy. If you're on PlayStation, there is a free PlayStation Plus box on the store. Go to the store, get it, and you'll get free skins and free coupons to use in game, by the way. Do it. I opened one of the smoke launchers, which I wanted, got fuck all. Opened one of the Progressive DBS crates, got a gold crate off the bat, and didn't get the Progressive DBS. Imagine my surprise. Still never had a progressive weapon, but I did get a battle stat AUG, so I can't complain too much. So yeah. Anyway, back in the room, Xbox is bringing its biggest ever booth to Gamescom 2023 to show off games. Like I said, we will be at Gamescom. Hopefully we can try do some live content around that, whether it's me dialing into Bib and Bib being live from the studio, from home, or me trying to do some live stuff from the actual show floor. It always sounds easier than it is. For anyone that's ever been to a football match or any form of live event, Gamescom is the same. Like, you get there and it's like, yeah, look at all the videos, because we're obviously trade industry. We get there nice and early and we can film and do everything. But then when everyone else gets in, all the network is destroyed. So unless you've got Wi-Fi to a booth, which usually they don't give out unless you're inside doing any sort of filming for them, then they don't give you access. So we'll see what we can do. It's better now. You can buy 50 at a time. You can buy... Oh, yeah. Rather than just 10 at a time. Yeah. The coupons. I saw that. I didn't actually buy any, but I did see that they were on the store. Anyway... Good news for Xbox. They are bringing their biggest ever public appearance at an event, anyway, with their Gamescom booth. It's bigger than anything they've ever done before, which is entirely great news. But what isn't great news for Xbox is the fact that Activision Blizzard has laid off 50 employees from its esports division. This is written by Liv... Is it Ngan? I never know how to pronounce, like... names that aren't your typical sort of English names that have vowels in them. Like, like it could be pronounced like Juan, that kind of thing. I'll just say Liv. Liv, I apologize. I'm gonna see if I can find out how to pronounce that name. I don't know how to pronounce your name properly, so if anyone does know, please do feel free to phonetically correct me in the chat. But the article does say Activision Blizzard has laid off around 50 staff from its esports division. The layoffs come amid news of the company's record sales of Diablo 4, which helped propel its net bookings to a whopping $2.46 billion. The layoffs, as reported by The Verge, affected around 50 employees in Blizzard's esports department, with one employee stating the layoffs were a complete shock. Quote, none of us who were laid off were offered any opportunity to switch roles or teams, the employee said. Formerly a member of Blizzard's esports operations team, they had believed things were going well for the department. The employee speculated the esports division inside Activision Blizzard will be closed as they were working on a new tool to run tournaments before they were laid off. Quote, they are completely unequipped to internally support anything esports, they said, since the replacement had not been finished. Despite the success of Diablo 4, Blizzard is beginning to release some of its games on Steam, foregoing exclusivity of titles on its Battle.net launcher for PC. Overwatch 2 will launch on Steam in August, likely due to the drop in player count reported in Activision Blizzard's most recent financial earnings reports. So there we go. I expected a little bit more in there in terms of rumor milling towards the Activision Blizzard acquisition sort of stuff. Whatever it is, Activision Blizzard has laid off 50 employees from its esports division. One of the employees that was spoke to it said, complete shock, they didn't expect it, and without the team that they've just laid off, they aren't now equipped to do esports to a high level. They were working on some form of replacement tool, so I always find that a bit of pill to swallow. Hey, you guys, do you want to work on your replacement? Do you want to get your future unemployment ready for us? No, but could this be because Activision Blizzard is expecting Xbox to take hold, and Xbox has all of their skills? We can push everything together from Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty esports is at a really high level. That's already within Activision Blizzard. So if
fucking hell, size of this moth.
I don't know. It could go a few ways. What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I mean, I hate the fact that they've brought in the Diablo 4 sales into this one, because as departments, that money will not be anything to do with them. There is no Diablo, as far as I'm aware, there's no Diablo esports, so that will never, that money that Diablo get will never touch any other department. I don't know whether or not this has something to do with Overwatch. I feel like this might be the biggest contributor to this. I feel like the Overwatch scene has started to wane quite a bit. I don't believe it is as popular as it once was. I mean, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm more than happy to be put in my place with this. I don't pay as much attention to Overwatch that I did in the past. However, being in and around the esports scene, it's just not something that's currently active in my feed. I mean, either on social media or on Twitch or on YouTube or anything.
Definitely. That's not even just from your angle. Like the article mentions here, Overwatch 2 will launch on Steam, which is likely due to the drop in player count reported by Activision Blizzard themselves in their financial earnings report. So even they've said it. If they've said it in a financial earnings report, it's bigger than what most people would assume.
Yeah, so if we're just taking that as face value, that Overwatch just isn't doing that well. Obviously, you have the CDL as well, which is, for all intents and purposes, a franchise. So people would have to pay the 25 mil to get an activator, to get an organization within that. The money all gets circulated between that. Again, as far as I'm aware, the old school Call of Duty League, where you'd have full grassroots and stuff, I don't know if it exists to the extent that it used to do. So again, that's just another revenue lost, in my opinion. So yeah, there's a whole remit of issues as to why 50 members of that esports team are gone down, and I'm not having it being attributed to the Diablo 4 stuff at all. It's just, I feel like that's a glorifying line within this article to say, well, they've made this much money, surely they can move it over.
Yeah.
Businesses don't work like that at all. Those teams will never see that money. But I believe what you said might end up being right. Obviously, with the Xbox merger all but done, are they going to bring the Microsoft's esports league into league member, shall we say, into the foray? So they might already have them a hell of a lot cheaper. They might have more experience. I mean, it's shitty that 50 people have ended up losing their jobs and they haven't been moved to a completely different department. But I imagine that Activision Blizzard departments for esports cover a myriad of games, not just you're doing Overwatch, you're doing CDL. I imagine they might have people like that, but 50 people that aren't interchangeable, I don't know. It feels like they're just closing the division down or winding it down to the bare bones. So they might only have production staff. They might not have staff on hand who stand behind players or make sure that the monitors are plugged in and stuff like that. They'll have on the floor admins completely separate from the production team. I don't know. We don't know how theirs works.
Yeah.
In my head, they would have a team of like 70 people, especially for events like this, and they would have a full production staff of maybe 50 people, and then they would have floor staff, they would have player staff, they would have event staff. Like it's a whole thing. If you've never been in esports before, I doubt you'll understand to the scale of what it takes to have an efficiently running tournament where everybody's catered for, everybody's happy, everybody's comfortable, because they are the most important things: welfare, comfort, and then obviously people are having a good time. Albeit they are there for, you'll see in one of the next articles, you'll see how much money could be on the line for these players. So we have to take into their welfare definitely when you're putting this stuff on.
Absolutely. I mean, the only thing I can think is it might even be this weekend. If it's not this weekend, it's very soon. Activision Blizzard's esports team will be delivering the WSOW, the World Series of Warzone, which is taking place at the Copper Box Arena in London. I've seen a lot of people talking about that. So Activision Blizzard clearly is doing a lot esports-wise. That's not even touching on the CWL, CDL, whatever it's called, the COD World League, Call of Duty League. The name's changed a couple of times. I can't remember which way it is. But basically, where you've got the biggest brands in competitive Call of Duty are competing, like Bib was saying, 25 million franchises per brand that's within there, so multi-million dollar brand. And in the past, we've seen that have bad reputation in terms of people have turned up to events and the events have been in cold underground car parks, literally like someone's hired out the venue and the venue has been a car park, and there's nothing wrong with that, because we've done events in football stadiums and so on. That always sounds cool. Yeah, great event at football stadium. They've all got rooms and stuff. But we did an event on the concourse of a football stadium. So where you go and buy your hot dogs and stuff, right? It's all about how you dress the space up. And doing it in an underground car park where you've got concrete pillars and stuff like that sounds a bit dodge, but that could also be really cool and atmospheric. This wasn't. It was really bad. It was cold. There was a lot of wind. There was lighting issues. There was bad connectivity because they were underground in a fucking car park, like that sort of stuff. But then they've got past that. We don't see those stories anymore because they've got there. And I hope this is a case of consolidation for the right reasons. I hope it's a case of Activision Blizzard going, okay, Overwatch League, it's just not going to take off like it did previously. The Overwatch League ethic, the model of it, is what has led to the COD World League or whatever it's called. So big, huge, successful event. But if Overwatch is dropping off, maybe they're not expecting to be able to deliver something at that scale with the Overwatch League, so they don't need the staff. Hopefully they're getting rid of it for the right reasons, though. Maybe it's the consolidation with Microsoft. Maybe they're preempting having Microsoft as a central agent, having a team that works across Overwatch and across Halo and across Call of Duty and all the other things, so they don't need these extra. Hopefully it's like that, and it's not a case of Overwatch 2 League will be in underground car parks, dodgy as feck, because they've not got enough staff there. So hopefully it is the rise. It's never good to see people losing their jobs, but hopefully if people are losing their jobs, it is well thought through and done for the right reasons and not just a quick cash grab. I mean, Activision Blizzard has made $2.46 billion over the last year from Diablo 4, and you were sold for $69 billion. So you don't need the cash. They don't need the cash, really, in that sort of sense thing. So hopefully it's done for the right reasons. It sucks that people are losing their jobs over this, but it's 50 employees is a lot less than we've seen in other areas of the industry. So that's the only positive, I suppose, that we can take from this. Katie Nicole, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome into the stream.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it very much. Nice.
Tino says, I'm currently working on an AI tool that can present podcasts. So if that's the case, then me and Bibby will, well, we better say.
Catch you later. Bye.
Yeah.
Nice.
That sounds like most podcasts now to me. They all sound like robots or stunted in some way, so I wouldn't notice any change. They all sound like robots. Oh,
I don't know what it means.
I thought you had a robot voice set up. I don't. Didn't want to be squeaky. As if I don't have a robot voice. Normal robot voice. Yeah, motherfucker. Welcome to Tito's podcast with real, legitimate people.
Catch you later. Bye.
Sorry, Tito. Bye. There you go. Okay, enough dicking around. We'll jump on to the next story. So that is Activision Blizzard has laid off a bunch of staff. We will jump back into esports in just a second because we do have another esports story. If you're interested in esports news and you're interested in seeing horrible, cringy stuff from an event, I mean, it's horrible, cringy for us. We work in esports and events, and seeing things done catastrophically bad, it's like car crash TV. You can't help but stare at it, even though it's, oh, you should have done so much better. We'll talk about that in just a second, because we're going to go over to the FIFA eWorld Cup. But before we've done that, we've just been talking about Xbox. So we've got to balance things out, right? We've got to talk about PlayStation in response, because, you know, Tito will be sat there with his Xbox bossy mode, like, boosh, boosh, boosh. So, yeah, here's the balance. Written on the PlayStation blog, do we have... Andrea Perez, there we go, on the PlayStation blog. A first look at the PS5 console Marvel Spider-Man 2 limited edition bundle. So pre-orders begin July 28th, which is a week today, for this striking new design inspired by Marvel Spider-Man 2 in-game symbiote. So it's a Marvel Spider-Man / Venom crossover on this console. So what an exciting moment for PlayStation players, as the Insomniac team just wrapped up a captivating panel at San Diego Comic-Con with fantastic new reveals from Marvel Spider-Man 2. I actually tweeted about San Diego Comic-Con this morning. They had a really, really cool stand. Like, I'll come back to the article in just a second. So me and Bib, we work in video games, and one of the things that falls within our remit, is a very wide remit, but is designing stands when you go to an event. And that could be just something that looks cool, could be just something that's comfortable, could just be something for people to sit and play games. Often what you get, though, is we want to do something that adds to exposure for the brand, and that often includes a photo opportunity. So we'll have a statue of Kratos, God of War, or whatever. But Insomniac, at their Spider-Man stand at SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con, had Spider-Man stood here, Miles Morales stood here, you stand in the middle, get your picture taken, job is good. And there's like a New York backdrop behind you. Cool. Nice. Really good. You've got two characters, done really well, and a backdrop. Cool. But the cool thing about it is they've kind of taken inspiration from the initial Venom trailer, where there's like a dark alleyway. So you can see, obviously, you imagine you've got two brick walls that are going off down into the distance behind you, where the alleyway gets dark to pitch black. And then in the trailer, Venom's face comes out of the dark alleyway, and they've got that above you. So as you stood between the two Spider-Men, there's just a dark alleyway, and then you can just see Venom's face, which is fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. It was great. So, yeah, check that out. I tweeted it. Insomniac have been tweeting pictures from the SDCC stand, so do feel free to check that if you want to see it. It does look really cool. Anyway, we were thrilled to debut these two stunning designs to our fans today because of how they capture the look and feel of Marvel Spider-Man 2. The threat of Venom and the symbiote will be one of the most formidable challenges that our two Spider-Men will face in Marvel Spider-Man 2. This is why we wanted to reflect the intensity of the symbiote and its capacity for transformation and power with a takeover design for the PS5 console and DualSense wireless controller. The front cover of the PS5 shows the symbiote tendrils aggressively creeping close to the Spider-Man icon, threatening to consume the last bit of the remaining red shining brightly through. The symbiote has completely bonded to the back of the PS5 console, with the iconic white Spider-Man icon from Insomniac's advanced suit on display. On the DualSense wireless controller, you can see a larger portion of the controller taken over by the symbiote design. It's been fantastic collaborating with the teams at Insomniac Games and Marvel on this new look for the PS5 console and DualSense controller. Here's senior art director Jacinda Chu, who shares her thoughts behind the design inspiration. The design was inspired by the in-game symbiote that's taken over the console and controller, but you can see some of the underlying red under the tendrils. This represents the various ways players will experience the symbiote takeover in Marvel Spider-Man 2. It's a constant push and pull for dominance, whether it's internal or external, and the outcome is not certain. There was something that I wanted to jump on. I want to see where it was. Okay, it talks about the controller having capacitive and adaptive controls and so on. But this is the bit that's cool that we've never had before. If you already own a PS5 console, we have great news for you too. You can also purchase the PS5 console covers, Marvel Spider-Man 2 Limited Edition, PS5 Dual Edition console covers, Marvel Spider-Man 2 Limited Edition and DualSense wireless controller, and Marvel Spider-Man 2 Limited Edition separately to add this bold new look to your current PS5 console. We've never had that before. Previously, you'd get the God of War Special Edition, or the Last of Us Special Edition, or the Star Wars Special Edition, or whatever, and you'd have to buy the full console. Another £500 purchase to get the controller, to get the console, and get the faceplates. Now, though, because PlayStation has faceplates and stuff, you can buy the faceplates either digital only or disc edition, and the controller separately, which is a nice touch. Pre-orders begin next week in US and UK. Thoughts, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. I don't know whether or not they had this. Well, I think they definitely had this kind of thing in mind anyway, with the fact that they have been releasing over the last 2 years faceplates, side plates, whatever the shit that you can just snap on, snap off on the side of your console. So, like you said, you don't have to buy a brand new £500 console to have a particular edition, Last of Us, God of War, whatever the shit, and Spider-Man. We've got the opportunity now just to be able to go, okay, I don't like the white sides of my console. I'm bored of it. I've got everything in my room, my desk, my monitors are all black. I want a black console, no problems. Bosh, takes 30 seconds to snap on, snap off. It's an easier way of them making money as well, because I imagine most people will probably want to be able to customize the console. I haven't yet. I haven't modified my console in any way, albeit I do think sometimes that I probably need to buy like a skin or just a decal to go on the side of it. I don't know.
I'm not the biggest fan of like skins and decals, like stickers and things like that. Generally, mainly because if you zoom right in, I think it's the same on the white outer plates. I might be wrong. I might be just getting confused with the controller. There's little triangle, circle, X's, and squares in there, which make it like a ribbed sort of texture, and then stickers and stuff never look perfectly right. If they're glossy, you get a little bit of like the uneven texture, and so stuff like that doesn't usually bother me. So new faceplates do, which is why I quite like this.
Yeah. So, again, massive dub for obviously not us not having to spend a stupid amount of money to get limited edition consoles. But I think you mentioned this beforehand. Like the actual mocked up version of what a Spider-Man console should look like looks infinitely better than what we've got, which is usually the case. You get people doing concept kits for football clubs about 3 months before the new shirt comes out, and they look exceptional. They look so nice, and then you get the same old shitty Adidas, Nike, Puma, fucking Macron, Hummel, whatever shirts. They just don't look as good as the mock-ups do, whether or not it's because of one side fits all for the template stuff. Nothing worse than the City Puma top from like 3 years ago now. I think the third strip that every other club in Europe had who was sponsored by Puma. They didn't have the logo on. It just said like Man City.
Yeah,
Etihad, and then it just had like the badges on there, but it was in like a print rather than it being like a proper badge on the front of it. I hate all that stuff. Template stuff can get in the bin. Umbro, for me, still make the best kits on the market.
No. What you need
Confirmed.
is an away kit that makes you look like a piece of rock from Blackpool Pleasure Beach. That's what you need. That's when you know you're a big club that has all the executives making the right decisions for the fan base.
Have you seen Everton's kit?
I haven't.
Everton's away kit.
I haven't.
They dropped it this morning. I'll put it in the chat for you so you can bring it up. I'm unsure. I'm unsure because I feel like the colour scheme's there, but you tell me that this doesn't look like an eFootball top. 1 second. Copy.
Whilst Bibby's putting that in, I will bring this up on screen. This, by the way, is Boss Logic's version of the Miles Morales skin. So it was a black skin with a red bit on the console and a red glow on the actual LED stuff on the console. Nice, simple, minimalist. This isn't actually the one that I was referencing. I can't remember the name of the other one. So this was Boss Logic's super simplified version of the skin. Someone else did a different one that was like a little bit more like 3D-ish, more details in the design and stuff, which was cool. I like Boss Logic's. I must admit, I'm not the biggest fan of like a part and part color scheme. So the the symbiote taking over with the tendrils and the red bit being what's left of Spider-Man. I love the theory, and when someone explains that to me, the narrative and belief behind the story, I'm suddenly like, okay, this is pretty cool. But still, I don't want that sat there because I'm not going to have like the huge black side with the tiny little red corner on the bottom. Just doesn't look as good in my setup as a white one. I mean, obviously other people may disagree, but for me, that's what it is. Okay, this is Everton's kit. That's... Yikes. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it doesn't look the best, does it? I think it might grow me though, because sometimes I think, God, it's so garish, but then, actually it doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, do you know what? I actually like Tito's put that's bright. If it wasn't fluorescent orange, that's my biggest issue with it. Like, I'll bring it back on screen again.
Is it orange? It looks like a salmon color or something.
I mean, it could be. It could be fluorescent salmon. Either way, ain't nobody want that. But like, when you bring it up on screen when it's the flat version, this image here, it almost looks comic book-ish in the bit background. Like, it almost looks like when you see the start scene of a Marvel. Like, if there's the new trailer for Marvel Spider-Man 2 that's just come out. When you see the logo bit at the beginning, it kind of goes all colour and it kind of flicks book to black and white. It kind of looks a little bit like that. So if it wasn't fluorescent salmon orange, I don't think it'd be that bad. That said, maybe I'm just coming from a wounded place, because if that was black and white, it looks like a better version of the shit zebra kit that we got for United last year. So maybe I'm already scarred and my opinion is wrong. I don't know. So I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't buy it. I mean, obviously, it's anyway, but I feel like it could be a bit of a grower. In the same way that, like, a lot of people loved that Nigeria shirt from a few seasons ago. Whereas for me, I was like, don't get me wrong, it's all right. And then it grew on me. It did grow on me. I would never wear it. I wouldn't be able to pull it off. I wouldn't be able to pull this off either, but still. Yeah.
It would wash me out that big time. That colour would just do nothing for my skin complexion.
If anyone's just dropped in and you're wondering what we're on about, this is what we're actually talking about. The new Spider-Man 2 PS5. So you can buy a special edition, limited edition PS5, which comes with the controller and the faceplates, or you can now, because it's faceplates, buy them separately. Which the question for me is, like, how we'll never find out how many people bought limited edition PS5s. I imagine it was obviously substantial enough for them to make some money off it, because they did it over and over again. But I don't know anyone that goes, I've got a PS5, I'm going to buy the limited edition as well. I know people that be like, oh, I need to get a slimmer version or a pro version, or mine's just broken, so I need to replace it. So I'll get the limited edition if it's there at the same time and it costs the same price. So not many people I know will just get one for the sake of it. Collectors, maybe, but even then, very expensive hobby. So if we get a very small number of people that buy an extremely expensive product that turns out to one figure, because this is a lot cheaper, there'll be a lot more people that will be able to buy it. I wonder where that would balance for them. I wonder if they're going to go, do you know what, actually, we actually earn more and it costs less for us to produce the faceplates, and we sell a shitload more of it, putting product placement out there a lot more often. So faceplates is the way to go. So I'll be interested to see. If we don't get a lot of this, then we know they didn't sell very well and they didn't get the money back. But if we do get a lot of it, then we know they did. So, yeah, interesting to see. The other thing to factor in is the PS4 sold very, very well in its lifetime. And that's probably in part down to the fact that there's a million different versions of it. I wonder if this will stop console sales and install base, but will increase profitability, which obviously is good and bad at the same time. So, yeah, lots of different ways. Look at it. Interesting. This transfer reveal video was different. I think we may have... Oh, no, I've not seen this one.
Oh, I think, yeah, is it the Burnley, I want it that way one?
Yeah, I've not seen this.
It's good.
I'm not going to play it, even though that is one of my favourite clips in TV ever, the Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now number 5. So I'm going to come back and watch that. I've not seen it. I just don't want to get copyright stricken for having 1, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and 2, the Backstreet Boys on YouTube when we export this. So I'll look at that one off stream. If anyone does want to see it, do check it out. There is another ad coming up in a minute and 30 seconds. We've used all our snoozers, so I can't do that. Apologies. For now, though, we'll jump into our next story. which is written by Jordan Midler at VGC, says FIFA eWorld Cup ends in penalty controversy, and it is controversy, as player inputs are shown on the big screen. The winner of the event took home a $300,000 prize. Yikes. So, if you don't know what that means, we'll go through the article. The final of the FIFA eWorld Cup ended in controversy after one player's inputs were seemingly shown on a large screen inside the arena, potentially giving his opponent the chance to gain an unfair advantage. The final between Mark 11 and Manu Batur came down to penalties after the pair tied 3-3 across two legs. However, controversy stuck in the early in the penalty shootout when it was noticed by Mark 11 that his penalty inputs were being shown on the big screen in the arena. It meant that were Manu... What the fuck? P. Honey! Thank you very much for the gift there. Just in time for JMK to not get ads as well. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. Oh, that was one of the other things. So P Honey has to do the if you missed it. Shout out to P Honey, by the way. He is the newest mod here on Ice Cream Uploads. He saved up his channel points. He put in his request, and the chat, only just with 56% to 44% of the votes, gave him a yes. So he is now a mod on the channel. He had to do a few things. One of the things was he had to give us 5 gifted subs a day, every day for 72 days. He didn't really, but, you know, banter. So there we go. Nice. Thank you for the gifted sub. There's just a million more to go, and you get to keep the tick indefinitely. That was it. He has to reverse Brexit as well. He had to get a top 5 placement, which he got a top 8. We'll aim off with that one. And the other one is when he's streaming on the stream crawl on Saturday, he has to do this. Uploads! So make sure you tune into Tuny's stream, Phony's stream to see that live. Nice. I'm still expecting a coffee. Oh yeah, and he has to make David a coffee. Or get David a coffee from Merry England because they're both in Huddersfield. So yeah. So yeah, nice. JMK, enjoy the gifted sub. Enjoy the ad-free viewing for the next month. Nice. And he has to fill the Etihad Stadium. Good luck with that. God damn. I mean, Brexit's more likely. Sheesh. Annoying, but nicely timed. And FIFA World Cup ended in ad starts. Death and destruction. Death and destruction. Yikes, the FIFA World Cup ended in death and destruction for Iceman. You'll see it. Okay, next one. Back to the news. So the fact that Mark 11's inputs were being shown on the screen is what we're talking about then. So that meant that were Manu Batura or his coach to look at the big screen during the crucial spot kicks, they could have seen which direction Mark 11 was aiming. Manu Batura and his coach contest that they did not look at the screen. Mark 11 alerted the event staff of the issue as soon as the penalty shootout started. However, in FIFA, the game can't be paused during penalties. The shootout went to sudden death, with Manu Batur eventually winning. After the match, officials at the event attempted to establish what happened and if it could have impacted the result, but it was eventually determined that the final result would stand. Mark 11 has only tweeted once since the event. However, his Twitter bio now reads World Cup Top 2 with a zipped mouth emoji, seemingly suggesting he isn't able to talk about the incident. Yikes! VGC reached out to EA for comment on the incident and will update the story if we receive a response. We recently got the chance to go hands-on with the game. Blah, 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 blah. That's horrible. That is horrible. And the fact that his lips are sealed is either they've got some horrendous sort of player competitive agreement that he just doesn't know if he can contest or not, or they've given him 300 grand as well and gone, shut the fuck up, just don't let nobody know, it's fine. But that is terrible. If Mark 11 would have won, okay, fine. But even if Manu Batur, I'll just call him Manu for now. If he'd have won, in any circumstances, regardless of what it is, that result gets questioned. Regardless. So even, like, he swears he'd not seen it. Of course you did, mate. You've won 300 grand. I'd swear whatever you want me to do if you're going to give me 100 grand. Yeah, of course. Of course my shoes are made out of pigeons. Of course they are. Shoes for pigeons. Whatever. It's 300 grand. You're going to say whatever you want to secure the bag. So him and his manager both saying they didn't do it. You'd understand. That's the way they go. However, even if they did or didn't, whatever it is, because they've won, the result comes into question. So this is tragically bad. Tragically bad. Like, the fact that none of the people at the event have gone, Okay, this is an extremely visible and extremely exploitable unfair advantage for one player that absolutely undermines the competitive integrity of the event. We should stop this. And this is where it comes down to it. Esports used to be played to your own schedule. You go to a taekwondo event, it'll be in some sports centre somewhere. Jobs are good, and you know roughly what the time is. But if something goes to a judge's adjudication, everyone has to sit around and wait. It is what it is. But I wouldn't be surprised if this was because of a broadcasting thing. Either they've only had the venue booked for a certain amount of time, or they've only got the talent for a certain amount of time, or it's a televised or stream schedule that they're sticking to. So they've gone, fuck it, we just have to continue and crack on as it is. And that's where it gets tedious, because you need to build in stuff for that. Like, if it comes down to a penalty shootout, and it is what it is, someone's got inputs or so on, you need to go, okay, we'll cut back to the studio, and you go back to the studio, and someone has to just sit there and let the game finish on 0-0 and go through extra time so you can get a penalty shootout at the end of it so they can go again. You need to have, like, this stuff already planned and in place for that. If someone has got all the way through and not realised that there will always be someone's controls visible on screen, then that is extremely bad planning. Extremely bad. So, yeah, this is not just a small event either. This is the FIFA eWorld Cup final. So, sheesh. Whoever the agency is that's delivering that for EA, you ain't getting another one. You would not be for me, because there is so much there that how have you not figured that out? And the fact that EA haven't spoke about it, the fact that Mark 11 hasn't spoke about it, it just feels like, okay, we're just gonna have to do something. We're paying people to stay quiet so we could just forget it and let it go, which is a shame. That's what it looks like for me. What are your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some instances, not with someone's command prompts being on the screen, but we did have an instance of this in the 2019 World Finals where it got to the final, and it was an amazing game. I think it was 2-2, and it went to penalties, but each team went and got the forts together, came back, and wanted to obviously continue the penalty shootout, but because they'd taken so long to get there, the server just kind of timed out. It was just like, okay, you can't do it anymore. So after reconvening with the players, the easiest thing for us to do was say, okay, we've got all the time in the world, don't worry about it. Our recommendation would be play the game again. Go again, clean slate, don't worry about it. It was a draw in the last game. Go again. And the both teams are like, yep, we'll absolutely do that. Don't worry about it. We won't have no golden goal. We won't let it play out until penalties to go again. Both players were just like, absolutely. You couldn't separate them. So both players was like, okay, we'll run it back. We'll do it again. Don't worry about it. So I feel like that definitely would have been something for them to be able to do here. Go, look, you command prompts from the TV. We can't turn them off now. I don't think the other team would have been looking at the TV, because that would have made it blatantly obvious, especially if this was a streamed live audience competition. There would be people in the shout saying they're looking at the fucking TV. That it would be blatantly cheating. That would have, in my opinion, I would have avoided them. They'd have been like, nope, not having that. I mean, even though it would have been technically our fault if we was the ones that was hosting it, that the fact that the command prompts was on the TV, it would have been avoided because there would have been technically cheating. But in this instance, I probably would have taken both players aside and gone, look, you might have drew 5-5 to get to the penalties at the end. Do you want to run it back again? Again, like you mentioned, it could have been time constraints or whatever, but in the interest of fairness and esports, regardless of if it's a world finals, whether or not it's a qualifying round, whether or not it's grassroots in your local gaming beyond centre, you have to take the definitive decision here and just say, look, we'll take you aside. We think that you can either play golden goal, you can do first half, or you can do full match again. There's nothing to separate you. None of you have lost this game. You just get the opportunity to be able to run it back. Do you want to take it? And I can pretty much guarantee now that both of those players would have said, absolutely, run it again. Start from the 100%. Beginning.
It's like you're already flipping a coin in penalties. You've played for months to get to this point. You are experts at your craft on the pitch. Now you're kicking a ball into a net, which is almost 50-50, whether you'll score or not. All that work and stuff comes down to a coin toss, effectively. Coin toss, whatever. I don't know if I say it right or not. I'm going to assume I didn't, because it didn't sound right in my head. But so you said to the players, do you want to go to a toin course, or do you want to go back on the pitch? They'll go, okay, well, I believe I back myself, so let's get back out on the pitch. We'll go again. And that's what they should have been doing. That for me is what they should have been doing, because someone somewhere who is director of this show has made a call to go, fuck it, we'll play it out. Let's go. Well, people won't notice. We won't talk about it. It's fine. And people, we are reading a news article on VGC, which is one of the best news outlets out there for video game news. People noticed. So, yeah, it's one of those things where they're just hoping nobody picks up on it. From our perspective, it's easier if we can just trust the players and the players trust each other. But this is competitive esports. You are playing with the integrity of your title being questioned.
Yeah, you as the admin need to take out people's emotions, because you've got £300,000 on the line here. So take out their emotions. You need to be the emotionless person and go, look, this is what we think is going to be best for you two at this moment in time. They both would have been, the heart rate would have been going through the roof. Their managers or their coaches next to them would have just been like, look, we'll take this for you. We'll go for these conversations. Don't make any decisions that you don't want to make. That's the easiest thing to be able to do. Just get them. These people have 5 or 6 members of a team around them, putting their arm around them and making sure that they're in a decent enough headspace to be able to do this. Speak to those people instead of the person who's playing, if they have the ability to be able to do so, and just get some top level. I think this will be the best thing for you both. There's literally nothing to separate them. Just clean slate, go again, bosh. I had to stand there in front of a room of about 400 people, hardly even spoke English, and I don't mean just me, and tell them exactly what was going along. That was literally, my ass could have fallen out on that stage as I was delivering those things. My heart was racing like fuck, but everyone in the room was giving you kind of a round of applause as to, that's the fairest thing. We can't wait to fucking run it back and do it again. Bosh, correct decision made. Let's go again. And it ended up being an amazing event.
Yeah. So for me, also a shout out to Jack, by the way, and I can see Tuco in the chat. Hey, we'll catch up with you all in a sec. Jack, thank you for the 8-month sub. It should have come as no, but TTS went no. Just
they robbed you of those.
I appreciate that. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for 8 months, dude. Love you long time. Actually, quick tangent. Jack, I did see that you messaged me the other day. I didn't see it until well after you, like days later, by the way. I have PSN messages alerts turned off because when we're streaming, people can write messages, and I've seen people get racist messages. But if it shows you a quick preview in the top corner of the screen and that racist message comes up, you as a streamer are liable for not taking the protections there. So I don't actually see those messages. I basically, the only times usually I get messages are from people that are, it's like you're in a group chat and people keep spamming your stuff. So basically I turn off all my PS messages. So I do see them once every week or few. So I did see it, but it was like 3 days after or something. You say you invite us to a game. Basically, we don't like you and we just want you for your subs. So if you can keep subbing but not sending me game invites, that'd be great. Thanks, mate. No, I appreciate it. If I'd have seen it, we were probably just doing dailies anyway. It must have been me and Nietzsche or something. So you could have absolutely jumped in, but yeah. Sorry, mate. Love you long time. So yeah, FIFA eWorld Cup penalty controversy. Like Baby says, they should have just stopped that, put a lock on it, and started again. If you're worried that you will look silly on your broadcast, you're going to look silly anyway, because people will know. The community that are watching your broadcast will know before it hits VGC News. People will find out, regardless. So what you do is say, do you know what? There has been a technical hitch here. We don't want players to be at risk of, their gameplay losing the professional integrity that they're expecting. So we're going to come back into the studio as we get things set, and it might even be that we don't get the penalty shoot that we're looking for. We're playing a sudden death game that once again could go to extra time and penalties, but we'll see when we get there. And you do that, and you hope that someone scores and wins it in normal time. Jobs are good, and handshake, everyone wins, and you crack on. It's not perfect, but it's better than having a news article put together which shows everything laid bare that you were trying to keep a secret. It always gets out, so why hide it? So yeah.
Well, we heard yesterday that there was only 3 different ways you can score a penalty, 3 different sides of the net that you can score a penalty in a FIFA yesterday, which blew my mind. You can either go left, middle, right. That is it. There's not 9 different directions, so it's not bottom left, top left, middle, top middle, bottom middle, top right, right middle, bottom middle. Bottom right. That would be the grid of what I would see when I'm playing video games, because that's what we've always had.
3
with
across,
PES, right?
3 down grid. Bosh, jobs are going.
Yeah, but apparently there's only 3 ways: left, middle, right. That's bullshit, man.
That's...
Like, if you dive the right way, you've saved it. What's that about?
Rock, paper, scissors, isn't it? Really, effectively. So, yeah. Apart from rock, paper, scissors, you have a draw. It's not the draw. It's a score save.
Yeah,
which
it's
is just
2-1, which is bizarre.
It's weird. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of the idea of where football games are going. Okay, you choose your direction, you choose your power, and you can hit it anywhere. And if the keeper gets there, they can save it. I love the idea of that, but in reality, that's pretty difficult. So you do want the 3 up, 3 across kind of thing for me in mind, because then that means you've got more emphasis on scoring goals. You don't want the goals to be they are very likely to save this, because penalty shootout, it should be in the hands of the attacker. You want the keeper to pull out a miraculous save or the attacker to miss. That's basically what it is. But anyway, we'll put a pin in that. It was all a controversy. It looks like everyone's accepted it because everyone's been quiet, because there's big wadges of cash floating around, probably keeping people quiet. But if anything else comes out of it, if the player speaks and it makes headlines, we'll cover it up, but I don't expect it to. The world will move on, which is exactly what EA is looking for. They just didn't expect VGC's Jordan Midler to be sat there going, I got this. I got a story. So we'll wrap things up. Fair enough. No problem. Very nice way of saying I ignored you. Oh, it wasn't a very nice way of saying it. I said keep subbing to the channel whilst I ignore you. So, what would have been nice would have been like, I love you anyway. But I just didn't know this, but I said, give me cash. Big love, fan. Big love, Steiger. Thank you very much for dropping in again. Sounds like the new Strike It Lucky. Where do you want to go? Top, middle, or bottom? And avoid the hotspots. What's a hotspot not? A good spot or whatever. Or something like that. I can't remember. Light Demoniac, welcome back. Hi, ICU. There we go. It's ICU, obviously, because it stands for Ice Cream. Uploads. All right, settle down, babe.
Again, without moving my lips.
What's a hotspot not? Prizes. Exactly. Nice. Correct. We got one more story before we wrap things up. I did actually see JMK mention this earlier on, but I ignored it for spoiler reasons. Exclamation mark FF. If you've never done it before in the chat, we'll give you this.
Free game Friday.
Nice. Free game Friday. And the reason it's called that, because it's Friday and we'll tell you what games you can get for free on a Friday. And it's usually from the Epic Game Store, which is where we go now. Well, kind of. Via PC Gamer. This is written by Morecambe Park and Lincoln Carpenter, like it usually is. And this details what games you can get for free on PC right now. It's usually PC, because PC just gives stuff away for free like it's going out of business, whereas PlayStation and Xbox, not as often. So we give you your free game updates, but it's usually on PC. And this week, Phoenix Wright meets Picross in Murder by Numbers. This week's first epic freebie. In this week's first epic freebie, team up with Recon Robot to investigate murders and solve the case by nonograms in this detective viral novel puzzler. That is Murder by Numbers. There you go. Next, you've probably played plenty of Skyrim. Looks a bib. But there's a whole lot more Tamriel out there to see, and you don't have to see it alone. The base game of Elder Scrolls Online is currently free on Epic, which means you can see and go to all kinds of mountains you haven't seen and gone to before. And maybe a cat guy will ride by on a big fiery horse while you do. Aren't MMOs magical? ? So your free games this week are Murder by Numbers and the Elder Scrolls Online. So if you've got a PC, you've got the Epic Game Launcher installed, make sure you go and redeem them now. If you've just got the browser, you can do it through the browser too. I mean, I know you're having to feign some form of interest in here, Bib. Any of those games catch your attention?
Yes.
Murder by Numbers?
Murder by Numbers.
Correct.
Yeah,
Also,
you
nice.
know it. But yeah, I mean, we mentioned this last week when we knew that this was going to be the game. Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, you can pick up the PlayStation version for like £5, and you get the the PS4 version for £5. You get the PS5 version for free if you haven't already got Tamriel Unlimited. So the version that you're getting on PC there is just the base game. It's just a foundation pack. You don't get any of the expansions or anything to go along with it. So essentially saving yourself a bit of money. If you can only play it on PlayStation, then I'd definitely recommend that. The best way to play it is on PC, so that you can get Vortex alongside it or Minion to be able to put all your screen mods on, where you want to be able to find all your way shrines and stuff like that. That would definitely be the best way, and the way that I would recommend to be able to play it. But the PlayStation version is fine. I mean, where are they? Where are they, Graham? Right here.
Are they right there, babe?
Yes.
Oh, nice one.
So we've got Elsewhere, Somerset still in cellophane, Morrowind still in Somerset, still in cellophane, and then obviously the original disc too. So,
No.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm up to date patch-wise on PC, because obviously that's where I predominantly played it, but I've got PlayStation versions here because I'm a fucking massive Elder Scroll nut.
Is the original game still in the cellophane?
No.
No.
So, Nietzsche, I've got a question for you. How does Bibby get into the cellophane?
Brexit.
Yeah, he does. He Brexit. Yeah, he Brexit open. Gets right inside. Nice one. You're talking in riddles here, Bib. I don't know what's happening.
Brexit.
What you got going on aboard?
Nishwa, I'll read. What have you been up to today?
Just dumb stuff.
Oh, I was asking Nietzsche, but thanks, Mr. Power. I appreciate that very much. Just dumb stuff. Nice. Okay, we are going to wrap things up. That was the last story of the. Let me give you a bit of a reminder. We talked about Xbox is bringing its biggest ever booth to Gamescom 2023. Activision Blizzard is laying off people in its esports division. PS5 has a new skin. Well, faceplate, whatever it's called. It's themed for Spider-Man 2. It was announced at San Diego Comic-Con, and you don't have to buy a brand new PS5 for it. You can just buy the bits separately, which is nice. First time ever. Also, first time ever, the FIFA World Cup was settled in bizarre circumstances, as it was a penalty shootout. But anyone that's ever taken a penalty on any football game ever in a couch co-op environment, you get to your penalty shootout, you sat there with your controller in your hand, and you realise, oh shit, I'm sat next to my mate. So you either sat, put it against your chest, or you face the other way, you hide it, whatever. Basically, there was no way of doing that in the FIFA World Cup finals. One of the players' inputs was shown on the big screen inside the venue. But it was all fine, and we determined that there was no cheating or anything like that, says EA. Of course they did. Wow. Major event being finished like that. Sheesh. And then we went on from that to talk about the Epic Games Store freebies, which are Murder by Numbers and...
Got 10 points.
No, it's not that one. Sorry, I actually meant to do Murder by Numbers or
Brexit.
Online. The Elder Scrolls Online, which is basically a Brexit game. Sorry, it is what it is. It just is what it is because we are an ice cream.
Uploads.
Nice. Okay, am I ever going to get bored of pressing these numbers?
No.
Will I press them forever?
Yes.
I will. Correct. Nice. And then we are done for the rest of the day. I appreciate everyone that did stick around through all the button pressing and weird stuff that we do on the stream. Tito mentioned that he's trying to create some AI stuff that can do podcasts. I mean, all it will do will bring you the facts. It won't bring you stuff like...
Yes.
Brexit. No. Brexit.
Exactly. So you won't get that stuff. Catch you later. Oh, Tito's going.
Catch you later. Bye.
Cheers, Tito. Yeah, we are going to disappear. Please stick around as we drop a raid on one of our friends. It's nice to support other channels, which we try to do as much as we can. But also you can support yourself. If you are watching this on Twitch, you will probably have seen the little sprinkles bit in the bottom corner down there. Sprinkles is our channel points currency, and you can spend it on stuff within the channel like changing the lights behind or entering in to the Double Trouble League. You can get a game on stream with me or other stuff within there as well. So please do feel free to stick around for the raid, because you will get an extra 250 sprinkles just for doing that, which takes you up to your next bit. Iceman's redeem post check. That's a waste of the sprinkles, but I'll do it anyway. There you go. Posture checked. Disco lights off. He's doing it all. He's throwing down.
Yeah, he's throwing down. Hey, big spender.
Anyway, we are going to disappear. Reminder that I'm back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Bibby will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. That's Sunday, obviously. And we'll be back next week for some scoops. But before any of that happens, Mr. Bib,
Yes.
is there what you want to add?
Yes, thank you very much for joining us for our 3 episodes of The Scoop this week. Chances are, as Graham said at the top of the show, there will only be 3 next week as well, because we are extremely busy at the moment, especially when we're both in the office. So as and when we can, best way for you to obviously be notified when we are going live is to follow us on all of our social media channels, as well as in our Discord too. But if you want to help shape the potential 3 or 5 shows next week, 2 ways you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms or alternative Get Involved with our Discord. All we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be at what time next week on Monday, Mr. Graham Day.
10 a.m.
Mr. Graham Day.
10 a.m.
Ish.
Wait.
Wasting sprinkles is the fucking crate game in PUBG. Yeah, if you haven't done any gambling on gambling, we like to gamble on gambling because gambling's bad. So let's gamble on it, right? Yeah, we do it when we play PUBG. We do predictions based on the crates, the in-game loot boxes. And Nietzsche went big the other day with 30,000 sprinkles threw down. He got it wrong, as always. He had the opportunity with his 30,000 sprinkles to win. What was it? Was it Forney threw down 220k or something like that? So he had the opportunity to win big. Forney ended up bagging an extra 70k. So gambling is good.
Love that.
Yeah, Nietzsche thought he was gonna, but he didn't. He always goes in the way of the odds as well, and the odds always shit on him, which is what it is. Is what it is. Anyway, Mr. Bib, you want to add? Did you add it? I couldn't remember. I got distracted.
Added it all.
Nice. Okay, well, we're going to fuck off then. Yay!
Mr. Pew Pew, that's where we're going.
Oh, we're going to see Mr. Pew. Okay, well, stick around. We do have an advert coming up in like 2 minutes. So we're going to avoid that because we are going to say...
Catch you later. Bye.
Because that's what we do. It's time to finish the show, so we'll say.
Catch you later. Bye.
And you guys can say.
Catch you later. Bye.
And we'll all just be like...
Catch you later. Bye.
Because we're going to go. This just is what it is. Before...
Get rid of Stay Frosty. We're having that from now on. Catch you later. Bye.
Until next time. Catch you later.
Stay
Bye.
frosty.